Some hotfixes hit this week, as well as a new Turbo Boost event. That's right, that's kicked off. We're going to jump into that. Some really funny stories with housing that just hit, and a tip for Legion Remix, maybe just a tip. We'll get into that. Let's just jump straight in here. October 20th hotfixes are in, and Blizzard's adding more and more stuff to their cooldown manager. That's right. You can now track more buffs and track bars on the cooldown manager. This was hotfixed in. You can go test what abilities have been added to this thing, because there have been quite a few, and a bunch of fixes for Legion Remix. Those continue to happen this week. Also, an interesting story here. Mythic plus 113. That's right. You're not reading that wrong. Some Chinese players went and did a plus 113 on Legion Remix. Now, this Chinese team is just playing all out, balls to the wall. We'll check out their team comp here in a second. But yes, they were able to run a plus 113. This team is made up of the same 5 players. They've been grinding it out. They've grinded out their weapons to level 999, which means they have over 1,000 versatility. That's absolutely insane. Again, their plus 113 was done on Blackrook Hold. What was their group comp? Well, 3 tanks and 2 DKs. That's right. We got an Unholy Death Knight, another Unholy Death Knight, a Prot Warrior, a Prot Paladin, and a Vengeance Demon Hunter. Yes, the tanking meta continues to be the meta for Legion Remix. They really have been pumping, okay? These guys are the top 12 spots right now, all the way down to a plus 90. That's the next group. The next highest group besides this group has done a plus 90. So plus 113 is absolutely insane. Plus 90 is crazy too. But these numbers are going to continue to go off the charts. Besides that, the top 50, down to number 50, are the first non-Chinese group. So the Chinese right now are grinding this shit out. And they're having a good time with it. Legion Remix has been fun. It's supposed to be broken. So I hope we continue to see this number go. Hey, maybe we see a plus 200 at some point. I don't know. But the thing is, they've capped out their weapons. So this will only go so high beyond this point. For player housing, you know, people over the weekend were testing player housing, having a good time with it. And the PvP of player housing, it's shown through. That's right. Turns out that during the testing phase, people found out that you can, in fact, plant stuff in your neighbor's yard. That's right. You're able to go ahead and put stuff in your neighbor's yard. Now, this might count against your total cap of items, by the way, which is an insane cap. People still don't know what the total cap of items is that you can use in your home, but it's extremely high. So you can use some of that cap to plant things in your neighbor's yard. So this little story here, somebody came back, Bajaran, came back and found a tree that he hadn't placed in his yard sitting in his yard. And he realized that it was actually his neighbor that had come over and planted the tree in his yard. So to be a friendly neighbor back, he went ahead and planted so many trees that when this poor man came back to his home, he could not access his front door. So obviously, I think this is going to be something that Blizzard completely takes out. I can't imagine Blizzard allowing people to continue to put shit in each other's yards. The HOA is going to absolutely lose their mind over this. You're going to have people reporting each other constantly. The cap is 200. Well, I mean, this guy used about 7 of those 200, I guess, to plant a bunch of shit in his neighbor's yard. So there you go. That was a fun little thing that we saw in PTR. Once people realized this, obviously, WoW players are complete degens, and they degenerated away and started putting shit in each other's yards everywhere. So I would assume this is not going to be a feature that's allowed once the housing thing actually goes live, but funny to see on the PTR servers. In other news, neutral players cannot make player houses. That's right. If you guys remember the story of the panda who went around and was able to remain neutral and leveled up via herbalizing everything in the starter zone for the panda people, well, turns out that guy cannot pick a player house. You do have to be faction bound to pick a player house. This is not something that's going to be applicable to anybody, but if you had any plans to try to be that neutral neighbor, it's not going to be allowed. You got to pick Horde or Alliance. Besides that, Mythic Plus participation is in the gutter. That's right. If you have been trying to play retail this week, it's been absolute shit. If we look at the numbers here, you can see the solid blue line is the War Within Season 3. We are seeing the lowest numbers since pre-Dragonflight. I mean, no season, but since pre-Dragonflight has been this low. The entirety of Dragonflight has never hit low numbers this bad. And Yeah, it's probably because Legion Remix has been a success, or you could say the retail game's failing. I don't know. I'd probably chalk it up to Legion Remix actually being really fun. I did try to go into the retail game and form up a group. You guys saw we tried to raid this week. It did take substantially longer to form up a group. I don't know if anybody's fucking playing retail right now. And the people who are just not doing a lot of hardcore content. You probably just got the Gregs of accounting again running delves or something. But besides that, nobody's really into this. The good thing is, all that's about to change. The Turbo Boost event, the last time we had one, absolutely skyrocketed the numbers for participation in Mythic Plus and everything, and it's probably about to happen again. So if you don't know what the Turbo Boost event is, it just went live this week. It's going live on your reset if your reset hasn't hit just yet. And this means the item level cap on all of your items has now been raised. The crest caps and everything else have been removed. And it's time to fully gear out to the max. That's right. So as I said before, crest caps have been lifted. Valor Stones have become warbound for the remainder of the season. Mythic Plus drop rates for warband until equipped gear has also been doubled. Ethereal Void Splinters may be earned in Mythic Plus dungeons, Manaforge Omega, delves, and rated PvP. Also, you get your new quest. This is the thing that allows you to get your best in slot items. So everyone's on Remix. That's why I totally agree. That's why these numbers have been so low. But I think Turbo Boost will bring some people back. For this, you get your 4 boss kills, right? If you guys remember, you get these puzzling cartel chips.
We have a realm to
Thank you,
destroy.
Evil, for the follow, man. Welcome to our Scourge. You get 2 new quests to earn puzzling cartel chips by defeating 4 raid bosses on normal difficulty or higher in the Manaforged Omega raid, or completing 4 Mythic 0 dungeons. Completing the one-time quest for the Turbo Boost event will reward you with the 3 puzzling cartel chips and a weekly Turbo Boost Infinite Growth, which will reward you with 1. It's going to take 3 to get your first item, so this week you'll be given the 3 to get your first best in slot cantrip item, and then beyond that you'll have to continue to do it every week. So for 3 weeks to get another item, and then you'll do 3 more weeks to get your final item. You'll end up getting 3 items out of this whole thing. Players will be able to earn 9 puzzling cartel chips in total to get yourself, as I said before, 3 of whatever you're missing. That ring, maybe the boots. Hey, maybe you get to go get those boots, but you'll be able to get some of your best in slots. From the gear vendors here, we have in Dornegal, they will offer you powerful weapons, trinkets, and cantrip items. As I said before, for Season 3, this is what you can use, your puzzling cartel chips. Purchasing Heroic Track dungeon trinkets or Heroic Track raid gear requires the currency associated with the boss that has been defeated on at least normal difficulty or higher to purchase that gear. Myth Track gear, just like the previous season of Turbo Boost, will require you to have the currency from beating that boss on Mythic level difficulty. That's right, so you'll have to have all dungeons either at Mythic 12 or higher, or actually kill the Mythic raid bosses to be able to get the Myth Track difficulty gear. Besides that, Delve rewards are also getting upped here. Get a leg up on your adventures with the boost to Delver's Journey progress and improvements to rewards from the Delver's Bounty. Delver's Journey progress earned per week is significantly increased from your bountiful coffers, Nemesis strong boxes, and end of run grants. You'll earn more Valor Stones and an increase to the repeatable earnable crests across the Delver's tiers. Tier 9 and above can now drop Champion 1 through 8 Warbound equipment. Unattained mana crystals can be obtained by opening bountiful coffers, You get more currency, you get more shit, and you're going to level up much quicker. Professions update recipes for crafting Sparks of Fortune can now be further recrafted again at the newer, higher item level caps. So again, you can recraft your shit to bring it up to that new higher item level. What do you think of the unholy changes in Midnight? Look, all the class changes right now are absolutely insane. I don't think I can wrap my mind around even the ones that have to do with my own class. We're going to see how that all plays, and actually, Evil, I have a little tip for you at the end here about how your class is going to play here and some guys that you'll be able to check up on. Besides that, we got a little guide here for the Turbo Boost event. I'll link this in the chat if you guys want it. It is a guide that will contain all the item levels. I'll also link this down below the YouTube video, and everything that has to do with this new event here. As I said before, updated gearing tracks, what crests you'll need, what all the shit, the currencies and everything else that go into this thing. This is a little snapshot here of how the Turbo Boost event is going to work for Season 3, and you can go ahead and use this as your guide for the rest of this event. Besides that, we have a new number 1. If you plan on raiding for the Turbo Boost event, Here are the current DPS charts. A current and new #1 overall, 95th percentile Mythic rating. Remember, take this with a grain of salt because these are the best of the best. We have Elemental Shaman actually taking the lead for the first time this season as the season kind of wraps up. Arcane Mage just behind them, Beast Mastery Hunter, Frost DK, Ass Rogue, Marksmanship Hunter, and Fire Mage there. Rounding out, what is that, your top 7, looks like. And then down at the bottom here, Survival Hunter, Demonology Warlock, Affliction Warlock, Arms Warrior, and Enhancement Shaman sitting there, lonely at the bottom. As I said before, Elemental Shaman is the newcomer here. I think they went up 5 spots since the last time we looked at this, sitting at the top. Good for Elementals, having a good time for the rest of this season. And again, these are rating numbers, so I didn't look at the Mythic numbers currently, don't have them. Midnight Crest overhaul. Let's get into some Midnight news here before we wrap up. For Midnight, we already know the Crest overhaul has happened, which means you will no longer have Valor Stones. That will no longer be a currency that you use. And is this a good thing? Well, a lot of people wanted to get rid of Valor Stones. I was one of those people, but now it looks like the grind will be a little bit longer. That's right. So the cap for your crest has now been raised from 90 to 100 for each crest type. So you'll be able to get more crests, but the thing is you're going to need those more crests. Because when we look at the charts now, if you don't know, the way this is going to work is every level up, as you upgrade your item, will require more crests to go up to that next level. So going from 5 to 6 is going to cost you 50 crests. Whereas if you go from, what is this? I would say 2, 3, just going from 3, 4, up to 5. From 3 to 5 will cost you 50. So there's going to be a big changes here. The amount of crests you're going to need in total will be 150 to take an item from 1 all the way up to 6. So that's a lot more crests. And that means maybe a lot more grinding. The way that Blizzard's kind of played it out is, yes, it's going to take us longer to hit those cap levels, but at least now you know that what it's going to take to get them, and the whole Valor Stone hang-up where you show up to a vendor with the crest that you worked so hard to get and realize you got to go run some dailies now to get those Valor Stones, that's no longer going to be a thing. So I actually still prefer this method. Literally, just play whatever you want. Yeah, that's a good way to consider those charts, and a good way to consider this. Hey, just play the game as well, and you're going to end up getting your gear. You need 2,250 crests for 15 items, and 2,400 for 16 items. It's kind of mad. Look, Blizzard's goal is to keep you entangled in the season for as long as possible. It's very obvious why they're doing the things they're doing. They want to keep you on that hamster wheel just a little bit longer, and yes, that's what this is going to do. But I'm not gonna lie. I still hated the Valor Stone system so much, and I'll take it. We still don't know if anything is gonna happen with crest. I should say crest-like discounts, right? So currently, right now, when you hit a certain item level in all of your slots, you know we get a discount on the crest that we have to use to get the next item up to that item level. That might be a thing still this season. We don't have any updates on that yet. And then also how we're gonna get crests. Are they going to give you more crests from delves? Are they going to give you more crests from the end of a run of a Mythic Plus? We're still not sure how all that's going to work. So the exact timetable of how long it'll take you to cap out your gear, that's still, I think, TBD. But again, getting rid of Valor Stones to me, still a positive. Let's check out some of this open world gear. That's right, we got some new transmogs also hitting the PTR here. We got transmogs for Blood Elves and for Void Elves. So these are quests that you'll be doing throughout the the Midnight expansion, and some of the gear that you'll be getting as you're questing with our fellow Blood Elves and Void Elves. Let's check some of this out. So we have some cloth sets here. Best colorway, I think this one probably, the red, and this is a good looking set. So we have, remember, these are just kind of your open world questing sets. So that's your cloth one right here. We have your leather version right here, same colorway, kind of the red and black. Does look very Blood Elfy, I have to say. Here we have the male set, usually the worst looking set, and I think that still holds true here. Probably the least good looking one of the bunch that we looked at so far. And then the plate set, and man, this is actually a good looking plate set. Shit, just for a questing set, what the hell? This almost looks like a Heritage Armor set. That's a good one. So there you go. You got your Blood Elf sets. You're also going to get a ton of shots at different Blood Elf weapons, obviously Blood Elf bows, things like that. Yes, these definitely fit the aesthetic of Blood Elves, I would say. Nothing too exciting. That's a good-looking shield. Kind of looks like a guard from Silvermoon. But the rest of these, oh, yes, definitely a guard from Silvermoon. Man, if Demon Hunters could do the whole hold the shield with the Warglaive thing, you could literally cosplay as a Silvermoon guard. But there you go. Those are some of those things. Now let's get into the Void Elf ones. So the Void Elf ones, looks like you're going to get those Voidy wings. This actually looks pretty nice. So you can get the void wings off the shoulders here. I guess you could use these shoulders in some sort of transmog. For the leather set here, also a little bit of glowy bits off the shoulders. This is a good looking helm, actually. I do like this helm for the leather set. This is a good one. Sam Mog is trash can. I gotta remember, these are not tier sets. These are just questing sets, so these don't look too bad for that purpose. Let's see the male set here. Actually, a decent looking male set. I don't know, the helm's kind of iffy. And then finally, let's see the plate set here for the Void Elf stuff. Yeah, oh, damn, we got some shoulder spikes. Again, I think the 2 plate sets are the best ones out of these. These are some good-looking plate sets, open-world plate sets to be considered here. So these are good. Void Elf weapons and stuff, yeah, it does fit the Void Elf aesthetic as well. Very voidy looking with all this shit. Yeah, okay, a Void Shield, not bad. Some other things here. This is actually kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of like some Magister's Terrace style loot. Not bad. And finally, the Warglaives here. Yeah, decent-looking Warglaives. Not bad stuff. Okay, someone asked me a question about classes. All right, and it's an important question because honestly, your class is probably going to play totally different. That's not a play on the title. It's not clickbait here. The amount of changes happening to classes is not just like your typical, oh, we're going to, you know, introduce a new ability and rebalance classes. They're trying to change how all the classes play. There's major changes coming in when it comes to resource management, when it comes to ability bloat, all kinds of stuff happening to every single class in the game. And if I spent the time going through all these changes, we'd probably be here for 2 hours on stream just going through every change. So what I'm going to give you guys is the link to this guide here. I'll link this down below the stream as well and in the chat. And what this really does is if I just click on Blood DK here for my specific class that I play, it really does a good job of kind of summing up the real concrete changes here that happen. So for Blood DK, the outright removal of dancing, rune weapons, variable cooldown reductions. So that means things that we used to play with dancing rune weapon to try to reduce the cooldown. That's an interplay that you have constantly with Blood DK. That's gone. As well as the bone shield boost to your damage. That's also gone. So those things really do change how you're going to play your class. Direct losses of Bone Storm and Tombstone for short duration cooldown, resource cost, that's gone, and Insatiable Blade as well. So looking at these changes here, it is going to change how you play your class, how you use your resources, how you use your cooldowns and everything else. So as someone was asking me for my opinion specifically, I think it was on Shadow Priest or something, I can't possibly give you an opinion. There's no way. I would have had to alpha test the shit out of these and then know how every class had played prior to it. It's probably something that's going to continue to be iterated on here as alpha continues to go forward. And there's a lot of shit going on. Unholy was what they were asking, yeah. I heard you also lose hair while playing Blood DK. Is that true? Well, I mean, I did start balding like, I don't know, 8 years ago, and I probably started playing Blood DK around the same time, so there might be a correlation there. Sam, there's an article about Pally and Priest NPCs that show up to defend the Sunwell, Kultiran, Night Elf, and Void Elf as Pallies. Hopefully, maybe, the last time it actually happens. That's a good point. We got class reworks, but could we continue to get classes spreading across different races? Yeah, I think it could totally happen. They've been saying they want to give more class choices, or I should say race choices to your classes, and I could totally see them adding them to Paladins. Paladins are going to be front and center. We saw it in the cinematic. We're going to continue to see them, I'm sure, in Silvermoon and everything else as this expansion moves on. Dabbling with the light is going to continue to be a big thing, so I could totally see more races getting light-bound classes like Paladin. That could totally be a thing. Good point there, Eggsy. And then finally here, as I mentioned before, I was going to give you a little tip here on Legion Remix. Guys, if you want to purchase one of these items, you could do so and then start killing those bosses over and over again to continue to build up your bronze, believe it or not. So if you don't know how to get some of these weapons right now, they basically require you to use 2 currencies to get some of these. Like the Scythe of the Unmaker, you got to continue to kill the end boss to gather up the currency, 40 of them, I believe, and then combine that with some bronze to get your Scythe of the Unmaker. So what happens after you've gotten it? Is the raid now irrelevant? Well, no. You can actually use the currencies you get from these final raid bosses to buy bronze. That's right. So if you had, say, 50 horns of the first satire, which is another raid currency, in your inventory, you can simply convert them to bronze, which can be useful. Again, raids resetting dailies, chances will come to accumulate a lot of these boss kills quickly. You can use this method to convert a lot of things for bronze rewards. That's right, so converting these boss kills over to get bronze will be kind of an end game for Legion Remix. And again, some of you guys have already purchased these weapons. That doesn't mean raiding is now relevant. This could be a really good way to continue to build up bronze, get all those mounts and transmogs that you really want to get from Satyr, I should say. I said satire, my bad, Satyr. That you can continue to use to get all the stuff that you want to get out of this remix event before it ends. So yeah, Legion Remix ends on January 19th. So you'll have your time right now to get all this stuff. Between that, maybe balancing out with Turbo Boost, you might be running out of time towards the end of this. This will be a good way to collect those final pieces of bronze that you need to get all the shit you want out of Legion Remix. And that is all in terms of news.